The theaters reopened. A blockbuster showing for AMC stock at this hour. It is jumping 12 1/3%. It has more today with fundamentals this time versus the frantic Reddit room chatter that has driven it back in, of course, January and February. Wedbush analyst Michael Pachter doubling his price target to $5 a share. Now, he's well below where the stock is right now, as you see, but Pachter says yes, by taking the appropriate pandemic precautions, the movie theater chain has indeed successfully reopened 527 of its approximately 600 U.S. locations. However, he says it'll take years to get back to a growth strategy. But after 1 year of darkness during the pandemic, this weekend was a major start as New York City theaters finally came back to life Friday, albeit at just 25% capacity. In his first appearance since New York City's reopening weekend, we're joined by AMC Entertainment CEO Adam Aron. Okay, Adam, how did it go? Did any theaters sell out? Which ones? Tell us what it was like.
Hi, Liz. Great to be with you. What a wonderful day for AMC. As you indicated, we did open in New York City this weekend without incident. A lot of our theaters were sold out. We have 13 theaters in New York. Saturday night across the whole of the United States was the single busiest day for AMC since March of 2020. The New York DMA was the biggest market in the United States for AMC in its very first weekend opening. That's an example of pent-up demand. What a successful weekend for us.
And you can only imagine that that pent-up demand will only explode more once you go to maybe 50% capacity. Adam, when are you hearing that may happen?
Well, we understand that various municipalities and larger governmental entities like states want to open cautiously, but we would expect that the capacity limits will grow pretty rapidly, especially with the incredible pace of vaccination in the United States. As you likely know, Liz, this week we should cross 100 million injections in arms. And it looks like we're doing, 75 to 90 million injections a month now in the United States. President Biden said every American adult can get vaccinated by the end of May. Clearly, that means the capacity limits in movie theaters will rise.
So you don't have any indication, say, from the governor of New York, when you could see the bump up to 50%? I'm just pushing you on this because I'm very interested to know, and I think it matters to shareholders.
Well, we were so delighted just to open. It's been 50 and a half weeks that we were closed in New York.
But who's counting?
I think we're, pardon me?
But who's counting?
But who's counting? Every minute I count. But yeah, so we opened at 25% capacity. That number is going to grow. But, that's not as big a problem as you might think. Remember that movie theaters are not sports stadiums or Broadway theaters that routinely are sold out. We're more like churches built for Easter Sunday. In 2019, pre-pandemic, AMC, who sold more movie theater tickets than any other entity on the planet, only sold 17% of our available seats. We got a lot of capacity. I'm not worried about seat capacity at all.
Box office grosses. There were just a couple of movies that were out that are either brand new or at least 2 weeks old. Raya and The Last Dragon. The grosses were a little anemic nationwide. Obviously, that one was at about 8.6 million. You had the second week of Tom and Jerry at 6.6 million. There was the Tom Holland movie Chaos Walking. I mean, you didn't have a big blockbuster here. What happens when
remember
you
a couple of things. Remember a couple of things. First of all, more than half of all movie theaters in the United States are still closed. By contrast, AMC is almost 90% open, but we have about twice as many theaters open as the rest of the industry combined. The next point is some people said we're in the new car business, and to sell new cars, you need new cars in the showrooms. There have only been a half a dozen major movies released in the last year. Right. We have so many blockbuster movies that were delayed and deferred from 2020 into 2021. Once we're going to have movies this month and in April and in May, But wait till you see what happens in the movie business between Memorial Day weekend and the 4th of July weekend. I don't know about you, but I am so excited that A Quiet Place 2 has been released by Paramount early. I'm so excited that F9, the latest Fast and Furious movie, is coming out from Universal just in a couple of months' time.
You know.
I mean, when Top Gun Maverick comes with Tom Cruise, everything I hear is that movie is spectacular, and it's going to be like that, like every week for the rest of 2021. We're going to see one major title after another. That's a very different scenario. Plus, by then, by this end of May, June, July period, the number of Americans who will be vaccinated. Right now, we don't even have 20% of the U.S. public that's been vaccinated. By 4th of July weekend, the whole of the population is going to be vaccinated that wants one.
From your mouth to God's ears. I got to ask you about those wild, wacky Reddit room kids who picked, of all stocks, yours and GameStop. This, of course, had nothing to do with anything you guys were involved in. You know, they saw that you were a heavily shorted stock. They decided from this Wall Street Bets subroom on Reddit to just go after the shorts. And you went from a market cap that was really worrisome of about 350 or 370 million all the way up to what is now 2.7 billion, in part because they piled into this stock. You know, how does a CEO like you, who has very little control over something like that, what was that like in January and February when it was spiking and then plummeting?
Well, it was certainly interesting to watch. Fortunately for us, we kept our eye on the ball, which is managing the business, driving recovery. You'll also remember that in January, AMC announced that we raised $1.222 billion of cash and paid off an additional $600 million worth of debt so that we could say with confidence that we're going to work our way through this pandemic. That was a major change for AMC. As for those Redditors, all I can say is this. There's a lot of affection for AMC as a company across the United States. This is a proud 100-year-old company. Going out to a movie theater is something that people have been doing for a century now. It's the second most popular out-of-home experience in the United States, second only to going out to eat a meal at a restaurant. And we took all that as a sign that there's a lot of enthusiasm for a return to moviegoing as A, the population gets vaccinated, and B, new movie titles get released.
Well, I am personally looking extraordinarily forward to Godzilla versus King Kong. I'm offended you didn't bring that one up, Adam, because that to me that's quality film, and I'm all for Godzilla. I'm a Godzilla girl. I mean, I know
you're going to have popcorn when you go, right?
You got it. Extra butter. Adam Aron, thank you so much, and we're glad that the weekend went well. Come back again soon, and we're waiting for the 50%, because it's kind of paltry right now, 25%. Anytime.